Here is Kentucky's schedule in 2025, and again, it's very similar to the schedule in 2024. You just flip the home and away games in the SEC. They don't have a tough non-conference schedule, but they do play Toledo. So Toledo could be a tricky game. And then, of course, they play Louisville. They play them every year. So it's not, it's not a cakewalk non-conference schedule by any means. Louisville could be a top 25 team for sure. Again, outside of Louisville, they don't really challenge themselves. They never really do. But, I mean, I don't know if they should when you play, a good quality rivalry game like they do, just like with, we see Florida, they play Florida State, but they still go out and schedule other games. But, again, some teams do that, some teams do not. We look at who they play at home and who they play on the road. At home this year in the SEC, it's going to be Ole Miss, Texas, Tennessee, and Florida. On the road, it'll be South Carolina, Georgia, Auburn, and Vanderbilt. So, again, this flips from last year, and they, once again, will have a very difficult schedule in 2025. So they'll start with Toledo on August 30th. That'll be the opener. And like I said, this is not a guaranteed win. Toledo is a very solid team out of the MAC. I want to say they beat Mississippi State last year. Maybe that was somebody else, but they've done it before. So Toledo will be a tough matchup there, I think, to open up the season. Then they get Ole Miss September 6th. Remember they upset Ole Miss last year. What a crazy year for Kentucky. They upset Ole Miss. They were very close to beating Georgia, and then they just fell apart. So I don't know what they're going to be this year, but that'll be a tough one there to open up SEC play. Eastern Michigan on September 13th. Then they go to their first bye week on September 20th. And their bye weeks are at very strange times. Both are very early in the year. In fact, after their second bye week, they're going to play 7 straight games. So that is a very, very strange place to put the bye weeks. You got back-to-back road games in between the bye weeks. South Carolina and Georgia, September 27th and October 4th. Very tough games there on the road, back-to-back. So this is a Kentucky team that could be looking at, a 2-3 start, maybe even a 1-4 start if they fall to Toledo. If they can knock off Ole Miss, then maybe you can get off to a 3-2 start, a 4-1 start even. So really, by that second bye week, we're going to know a lot about Kentucky, and we're going to know if they are going to be at the bottom of the SEC again, or if maybe they're going to be, back to their old ways. So after that second bye week, they'll play Texas at home on October 18th, and then they play Tennessee at home October 25th. So back-to-back home games there, but against very tough teams. Then they've got to go on the road to play Auburn on November 1st. Obviously, tough place to play. Auburn beat them last year. You've got Florida next on November 8th. That's a home game for Kentucky. But it's going to be tough. And then they do get a little bit of a breather. They get Tennessee Tech on November 15th. That's the good news. I'm just looking at the schedule. If I was Kentucky, I would have probably found a way to schedule, a Tennessee Tech type team after Eastern Michigan or after Georgia, and just get a bye week there late in the season. But they're going to have 7 straight games. Vanderbilt up next on November 22nd. That'll be on the road. And then Louisville on the road November 29th to close things out. Very, very tough schedule here for Kentucky in the SEC. You're playing a lot of the tougher teams. You're playing Texas, playing Georgia, playing Ole Miss, South Carolina. It's going to be a very difficult schedule. So how tough is this schedule compared to other teams in the SEC? Well, it's one of the toughest. You can see their SEC opponents last year were 38-26 in SEC play. That's a 59% winning percentage. That's the third toughest conference schedule in the SEC. So Kentucky definitely has a tough schedule again this year. And, it could very easily be another horrendous season for them if they get off to a slow start. Again, they're going to have to pull off some big wins, some big upsets if they're going to have a chance to get to a bowl game in 2025.